podcasting from the sunny state of California where Hollywood and superstars shine. Hey, you're listening to Perfectly Normal. This is a podcast where I talk about love, courage, and connection. I'm your host, Michelle Quay. I'm a confidence coach who loves helping people to bring out their personal magic without the imposter syndrome. I'm also the founder of Elevate Life Coaching. It's a coaching and seminar company. Welcome to the show. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode. How well do you communicate? So, if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you're thinking maybe I can start a podcast or do something about getting myself out there. So if this is you, this episode is definitely for you. Or maybe you are someone who is kind of struggling with behind the social media and you're not quite sure how to pitch your service or how to communicate to get more clients, then you definitely wanted to hear this episode. In this episode, I am going to talk about a couple of things, mainly the messaging that we do on social media. I don't know about you, but a lot of time I receive these pitches after I made a connection on social media. So say someone come across my Facebook, right? Or come across my Instagram. They send a friend's request and suddenly I get this message in my message box or inbox. And the moment that you open up, here are two types of people. One, they actually genuinely want to find out what is it that you do and how did you get into it, right? So I get a lot of message on that. And the other type of people are they send you a long list of who they are and the service and the product. And immediately underneath that, you see them inviting you to their groups, to their product or services. So to me, the second type of people, thank you. And many times I would just ignore it. The reason being, no one wants to be sales too, right? And when it comes to marketing, we don't want something that we're not looking for. So if you're connecting with me, I assume that you have already either listened to my podcast, read my blog, follow me on social media, have been there for a while, or you're checking my things out and you're learning what I have to offer before you jump into the conclusion to invite me to a fitness challenge, maybe let's say, right? Because technically I'm not really looking for fitness right now. I'm looking for I don't have anyone who's I'm looking for right now. Maybe a virtual assistant. So I've been getting a lot of requests from virtual assistants. I don't know. But so it depends on the timing of when and what I am looking for. Then I would either choose to respond or not to respond certain comments that come through my inbox. So I'm sure you are probably sitting there and you are the same way. You probably have somewhere in your lifetime received those messages that feels very salesy, that feels very marketing, right? People are trying to get you to buy their stuff. When you see that, what do you do with it? Either you trash it or you ignore it, or you ban that person from ever sending you any messages ever again, right? Those are the three common way of how we respond to someone who is, selling you stuff. And this goes back to the days when we had a telemarketer. What do you do with the telemarketers calling? You either hang up or you just unlisted your number so that they would never be able to call again. So same thing moving forward. And now we're in 2021. So a lot of marketers are moving onto social media. And they either send you a very salesy messages. And so you get a lot of emotion, get triggered by that, right? I just connected with you. Can you not sell me stuff? This is not what I need. So we have that negativity that's already being triggered by when we receive those messages. So it's not a good way to approach your marketing. It's not a good way to tag people. And this is also something that I see very common is that a lot of people would tag someone else who it really is not within the industry or has nothing to do with the product you're selling. And suddenly you're tagging them for something that you're hoping that by tagging them, it would become your marketing. And if you're using this marketing strategy, I want to encourage you to think about it and maybe even stop doing it because it's not effective. I would be really interested if this has been your method of tagging people to increase that visibility. I would be very interested to know how effective it is for you. So if you want to jump into my Facebook group and to let me know and comment on this, I would love to hear from you. So tagging is not a good way of doing your marketing. What really works well is, especially if you're a coach, if you have a service-based business, then I want you to listen up. So if you have a service-based business, what helps is you want to engage your audience. You want to be seen. You want your people to look at your product, to buy your product, to buy your service, to buy your course. If this is what you're aiming for, number one, what you need to do is you need to be in front of the crowd, right? How do you get in front of the crowd? You can do posts. You can create more posting to share your product, share your expertise. And how do you share your expertise? You make posts that will either teach people something or you give tips or offers to people so to let them know that you have a solution for them. And then you wanted to ask them to engage your post and find out. And the reason why you're engaging them with the post is not so that they can comment and that's great. But what do you want them to do? What you want them to do is to convert them, right? So you want to find out what is it that people are looking for? What is it that they are struggling with? So there's underlying intention behind each of your posts when you ask those questions. What is it that you want to get from them? And what you want to get from them is not just a comment. You want to understand what is it that they are going through. You want to be there to help them. And that is the intention of creating those posts that's engaging them. You want to engage them into conversation so you understand more about what they do, what is it that they like, what are some of the things that they follow, and where can you find more of the people like them, and what is it that they're talking about, right? So if you're not understanding what they're talking about, how can you possibly sell them or convince them to buy something that they really don't need? So really getting to understand your people is super important. So we're going to talk about the messaging. Messaging is about getting to know who they are first, and you want to add them. One way to actually increase the effectiveness of your marketing is you want to add them possibly to your personal page. I don't know about you, but when I get a request from a business page, it tells me a lot about, I don't really want to connect with you because I don't even know you. And I don't even know that this is something that I want, right? So if you send me a request from your business page, chances are I'm going to look at it. I will find out exactly what you're about, and then I'm just going to close it. But if you send them and if you reach out to them via your personal page, then that's a different story. And especially if you've been following them, you've been commenting on their posts, you've been interacting with them, then what you might want to do is you might want to reach out to them on your personal page. Now, some people would say, but I don't want people to get to my personal page because I share a lot of personal things on there. Well, what kind of personal things are you sharing? If it's not social media appropriate, why are you even sharing it in the first place? Maybe you have kids that you don't want to be on social media, then don't post anything about your kids on social media. I think it's the once you post it, it's out there. People can download, people can find it. it. It's like, I don't know about you, but I don't really trust anything that's important. I don't put it out there, because once it's out there, it loses your hand out of it. It can easily get out of control. And this is where that privacy comes in, right? If you really truly want something to be private, why do you even bother using social media as a place to keep something that's private? Keep it private. So think about what you put out and be intentional, even on your personal page. You can showcase your life, you can showcase your lifestyle, you can talk about the things that you do for fun. You can share pictures without actually showing your kids, their face. And there's a lot of get around when it comes to what to post on your personal page. So the bottom line is, if someone approached me via their personal page, I feel there's a less of a bar that I have to go through. The bar is lower for me to cross, and I'm more likely to connect with them. Here's a little trick about what I do. If someone sent me, say a marketer or someone who is trying to sell me a 7-figure method of booking my next client. So obviously they have that intention set up already, right? You can see it, you can sense it, you can feel it. And the only reason they're reaching out to you is because they want to sell something to you. I go and check out what they're all about before I add them onto my feed. Reason being, number one is I don't, at the moment, I am not looking for someone to help me with 7-figure digits. And, I'm fully capable of doing that myself. So I am not looking for someone to help me with that area. So the reason why they're reaching out to me is kind of suspicious. And when I sense someone whose intention is unclear, I don't know what is it that you want. I know that you are not genuinely interested in really seeing what I do, then I don't need to add you. I don't need to add you onto my page, because then you're just gonna become a number that just hang around on my friends list. Right. And this is where people also get really struggling with is your engagement. So if you have 1,000 followers and only 10% of them are engaging you, you need to think about twice about adding that person, right? You can have 4,000 followers and only 40% of those followers are going to engage your post. So technically, the 10% and the 40%, it's still the same number of people, the same percentage of people who's going to engage your post. So you're not really helping your algorithm. And the more that you have more these inactive followers following you, the more that it feels, sometimes even it can hurt your algorithm of being seen on your post. So I'm very intentional about who to add on my social media. I like people because I like that sense of community. So I'm hoping that, once I add you, you're actually interacting with me. You give me a chance to get to know you, even if you are trying to sell me something. I would still appreciate that you get to know me and understand what is it that I need and help me with what I'm truly struggling. And rather than send me a salsy message and say, hey, I know we just connected, but here you are, I want you to invite you into my group. You can do that later, but initially, please don't. Yeah. So there's two goals really. When you add them to the personal page, the first one is you're giving them an opportunity to get to know who you are, and whether or not you're trustworthy. So people can actually be lurking you and seeing, what is it that you're talking about? What are you up to? That kind of things, and you're also giving them a chance to look at whether or not you are being consistent in saying what you do and doing what you do. And this is really the first step to building that trusting relationship. And this is a topic that I had talked about last week, about how business is not a transaction. It's actually a relationship that you're building with another person. So think of it as, how do you want to be treated if you are the client, and how do you want to respond to when you are the clients and the coach, say. So it's a two-way street. So it's not a transaction, it's a relationship. You're building a relationship with your clients. Hopefully, it's resonating with you because you never want to have a one-time transactional relationship, right? Because it's a service based. So what does that mean, a service based? You want to build that reputation. And when you build that reputation, then your previous client is going to refer someone else to you. And this is how you get the ball going and rolling. So always build that relationship and not the transaction. Don't aim for the transaction. Transaction is easy, but relationship takes time, and it also take a lot of consistency to actually build it. All right. So the second goal, that when you add people to your personal page, is you want to get to know them. What is it that they do? What are they talking about? What are they into? What kind of TV show are they watching? What struggle do they have? And how can you be of a service to them? And how can you offer your help to resolve the problem that they have? If you are unable to offer your help, then don't pitch. Right? If they're looking for a fitness coach, and here you are, you're pitching them about I don't know, like some type of product that you're selling, or a journal. Yeah, well, they're really looking for a fitness coach. That's what they want. So give them what they want, right? And maybe you can continue to engage them, and hopefully, throughout the time, we all need a coach. So it'll lead them to look for something else. So never pitch to someone without knowing exactly what they are struggling with, or what they're looking for, what goals do they have in their life. And you wanted to message them not in the same pitch. You wanted to do it over time. So what I would recommend is, if you're reaching out to someone in a message, don't do it like in one shot. You can do it over a period of time. So what I recommend is you create a spreadsheet. Actually, you create a spreadsheet, and what you're going to track is you're going to track your conversation with them. Say, for example, today you engage in a prospect, and you would like to continue that conversation with them because you believe that this is something they truly need. So you're going to check back with them, a couple of days or a week later, and just get a sense of what are they up to, what are they looking for, right? So you want to continue that conversation with them in a very genuine, just pouring your heart out, that type of conversation. You don't want it to be like, oh, hey, I know it's been a week and here we are, how about you join my group? No, you don't want to do that. That's something that's I don't know. It's maybe it's a limiting belief, but I don't believe that it's coming across in the right direction. It's not coming across in the right way. And I personally don't do it. So I hope, you're resonating with this message, and that you would tweak it and do it your style. Maybe it's not every 3 days that you send someone a follow-up message, but at least just be genuine and commenting, and learn what is it that they are struggling with and how you can help. All right. So the only time that your message can be really salesy is when you have no idea of what is it that they are going through, and you step in, you offer them something that they don't need. That is typically the only time that people will feel very salesy. They already know what you do. So if they knew they need your help, they know where to find you, which is why your consistency on your posting, on your education, on your tip, on your resources is very important, because that's another way for staying in front of them. Because if you send them a message and they don't have anything to look at, they don't have anything to fall back on to get to know you more, then you kind of just like a stranger, walking down the street, and say hello to them, and there you go, you disappear, you're not back again in their life. So how do you stay in their life is by doing what you do, your resources, your education piece, your blog, your podcast, things that you do on a daily basis, that you stay in front of the audience. All right. So remember, don't pitch something that it becomes very salesy when you have no idea of what the other person is going through. And I see this a lot on especially on Facebook. I go and visit some groups, and people share something that they're struggling with, and you see all these different offers and advice suddenly popping up, and all they need really want people to do is asking the right question, like, what is it that you're going through and what do you hope to get out of, so start asking questions, be curious, and don't invite them to an event just so that you can fill your seats, right? Don't tag them because you feel that, by sending out people, you're going to have more reach. That's not a good way of marketing. Marketing is something that you do consistently over a period of time. So if you're just tagging someone to an event, or sending out a message and hoping that person will like the page, that's probably not working for you. And don't invite them because there's something that only invite them when you know that this is something that they can actually learn and they want to have. So this is another reason why you go to their page and really read through what is it that they're talking about, what is it that they're struggling, what is it that they need, and you find out from them. So, all right. So how do you know? Let's see. So how do you know when is or what is the right message to send? So the only way that you can know is actually you get rid of your own agenda. I know, you have a business, you have a service products that you want to give to people or sell to people and make people buy. I get that. I get that. And I know I am in the same space, right? I hopefully by the end of this podcast, you will like what is something that I said and you will be interested in checking out my group or joining my 5-day spotlight challenge. I have my own agenda. But what's more importantly beyond that agenda is that you need to show up, genuinely care to make a difference in someone else's life. So at the end of the podcast, let's say, for example, you said, well, Michelle, no, I don't feel that, I wanted to join this 5-day spotlight challenge. Great. Don't. Right. But hopefully by listening to this podcast, I share something that you can walk away with and you can implement in your own practice, maybe in your own strategy. Hopefully this podcast has given you enough value that you will think about how the way that you're messaging people and the way that you're connecting, making your connection with people, and what do people like and what don't people like. So hopefully you're walking away with some type of value regardless of what my underlying agenda is. So never walk into a conversation holding that agenda. I've tried it, I've done it, it doesn't work. I can tell you 100%. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you're reaching out to people. What agenda do you have? Is it something genuine that you just care for about people? Or is it something that you want to sell them? If you want to sell them, it's going to show up on your message. If you genuinely wanted to help, it's going to show up 100% in the way that you talk about things. So what type of energy that you bring into a conversation is going to determine what type of clients that you're attracting. And when you provide enough value, people's going to like you so much that even if they, at the end of the conversation, they don't buy from you, they're going to remember you and they're going to remember what you do. And they are more likely to refer someone who they believe can really benefit from working with you. And that's how you build that relationship. That's how you snowball that relationship and build on your reputation. All right. So hopefully I've given you some idea of how you can communicate more effectively on social media to pitch, to offer your service or your product. If you really enjoy what I'm talking about here, this is something that I've been doing every week in my Facebook group. So I have these live masterclass every Sunday at 11 o'clock, where I talk about this in more depth, in more detail in terms of how do you articulate, what type of energy do you bring, what if you're really nervous about doing your next live and you don't want to do it, how do you overcome that? So this is something that I am going to talk about this week in the live masterclass. And last week, I had talked about how to bring your personality into the business and how do you incorporate that into the business. So this is something that I do every Sunday at 11 o'clock in my Facebook group, The Confidence Lounge by Michelle Quay. You can find me on Facebook. And I am also launching another round of 50, not 50, I wish it's 50, 5-day spotlight challenge. So this spotlight challenge is really about giving you just enough nudges to push you out of your comfort zone and start doing live videos on Facebook. Because there's a lot of us who have a business and who want to be seen, to be heard, and to be hired, but we're still hiding behind that wall of it doesn't make me feel comfortable in speaking on the camera. It doesn't make me feel comfortable, talking about my service when I'm among a group of people. Or you might even find yourself not missing out a lot of speaking engagement just because you're afraid to speak up. And when you're not speaking, how can it be possible that these event planner even find you? So how do you even book that first gig, right? It's by overcoming that fear of being under the spotlight, and the spotlight being you're in front of the camera and the whole entire world can possibly see you. We're not going to do that though. During the 5-day, I'm just going to have you go live in my group. And every day I would be there to support you, to provide you with my feedbacks, evaluation. What are some of the things that you can improve upon? So all that would go on the April 21st. That is the first day that you'll be able to access all the challenge material, and you will have a daily prompt and you will have daily tasks that you need to do during those 5 days. And at the end of the 5 days, my goal is to get you a complete 10 to 15 minutes video that you can share on your social media. You can post it on your about page on your website. Perhaps this has been something that you've been thinking about. You need to have a video to showcase your business, to talk about your story of how you're passionate about what you do. Then this is your opportunity to do so. Today is actually the last day that I am offering this for free. There's a promo code that's been passing around and going around. It's Spotlight Fear. So it's ending today at midnight. So if you're listening this podcast and you've been wanting to do live videos, congratulations. This is your opportunity. But don't worry, if you are still interested, you can sign up and you'll be my regular price of $47. I will share the link in the episode notes so that you can go and check it out, and perhaps it might interest you to sign up. All right. So I will see you next week where I bring you more love, courage, and connection. Hopefully, this is going to give you some idea of how you connect to your audience by the way that you're messaging them. All right. Have a good one. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening. In order for this conversation to continue, I would like to invite you to join my private Facebook group, The Confidence Lounge by Michelle. This is where we can continue this conversation to live a life with authenticity, bravery, and connection while supporting each other in moving forward in life. If you found value in this show, I would appreciate if you can give me a rating on iTunes or Spotify, or simply share this show with a friend who can light up the fire from hearing it. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. If you'd like to learn more about my coaching service or invite me to speak, please visit my website at elevatelifecoaching.org or send me an email. See you on the next show.